quite a turnout, and we are thrilled that you are all here. Welcome. When the Afghan upsurge happened in August, I began looking around to see what we could do on the South Shore. I kept seeing little tidbits that said Hull might have somebody, this town might have somebody, but I could get none of the resettlement organizations to really commit that they would work with us on the South Shore until I reached out to REAC. And they were more than accommodating and are very willing to work with us to help us resettle Afghan immigrants here. There are many different resettlement organizations. Not all of them will resettle on the South Shore. And I think it's unclear because of the numbers of people that are coming, just who are the resettlement organizations that will be doing that. But REAC has made a commitment to work with us, and they have been phenomenal in giving us direction in that area. So I'm very pleased to turn this over to Miriam Gass, who's the executive director of REAC. And REAC stands for Refugees Immigration Assistance Center. Thank you. And she's been working, I'm going to let her tell her story, but it's just a phenomenal story. She came here in 1993, just to steal a little of your thunder, thinking that she was visiting her son who was in college here. And lo and behold, she got stuck because of the war and the revolution in Somalia. And the rest is history. So I'm going to turn it over to her. And then this is Ayan Warfa, who's the program director at REAC. And she does a variety of different things. And she's been an amazing liaison to me as I've tried to coordinate some of this for our team here on the South Shore. So I'm going to turn it over to Miriam now.
My name is Miriam Gass. I am from Somalia. And I came to this country at 1991. Just to see my son who was in university here. And then I stuck, as Anne said, thank you. After I came, my country collapsed and I couldn't go back. And I left everything. And they tell me that one of my friends don't come because they are looking, to kill you or to something. So I started new life in America. But what it helped me that I have speaking different language, and then that was time Iraq, the war in America, and there is a lot of refugee Iraq coming. So Boston Medical Center, they need interpreter who know the culture and also speak their language. So they hire me to interpret it for Iraqi, and then after that, Somali came to also top in the Iraqi for the refugees. And the conflict of my country is just the decline and the power and the politics that I don't know, until now, I don't know how to figure out what is the war is, because nobody our country invaded, but we are killing each other for no reason. And that is sad. So when I came here as a Boston Medical Center interpreter, I seen a lot of Somalian women and children who just running from the war, and they don't speak the language, they don't know the culture, they don't know snow, they don't know anything about anything America. Because if you know geographically, Somalia is a corner of Africa, and we are close to European. 3 hours to go to Rome, or 3 hours to go London. But it's a 1 day and a half to come America.
What happened then in after Somali came for the children, no husband, no men coming, all men and children, women and children, and they are suffering. So that reason we just, since I know, because they come to the hospital, as soon they come, they have to come to the hospital to check their healthy. So I see him, all of them. And then I found out that they need help. So after work, I will go home and helping them about the heat, about the gas, about how to go to market, buy milk, buy food. I exhausted. 8 hours working, and then after that, around, community go. So one of my friends said, listen, we have to do an organization called Somali Women and Children. So we started that, but the people, they are feeding each other and they kill each other, so another person can talk. So I opened my house just to come and to talk, and the traditional food, tea, talk what you have. And then little bit, they found out that they need help each other. Because in Somalia, we don't have problem of color. We are all African. And we have a lot of Italian. They never mention it that they are white. So we don't see that any problem. But when we come here, they say, no, you are black. No, you are this. Or no. So that is why they say, wow, what is this? This is a creation of God. I don't have a control. But anyway, we found out that we need each other more. So we started working and helping each other and opened Refugee called Somali Women and Children. So for a while, and that was 2003. In 2002, I went to Washington, D.C. for organizations, other Africans, other organizations. We are learning. And then we found out that we can do resettlement. That refugee for the nine organization international who have a contract with the State Department, and then they will resettle. In 2001, we become officially resettlement agency in Massachusetts. So for that reason, we was resettling Somali and helping them Somali. Then we found out, still we have our name, Somali Women and Children. We've seen a lot of other nationality who are facing the same thing that Somalian people say. So we have to change the name. We are not anymore only Somali, but we have all the refugees in the world, because I see a Pakistani woman, Bangladesh woman, I don't know their language. So we hired somebody interpreter, and then we changed the name called Refugee Immigrant Assistance Center, that we have anybody can come, that we can help everybody. Since until now, the refugee, totally when they come to the camp, they stay for long in order to take testing and also what the health they have, who they are, IIB and CIA, all of them, they will check before they come here. So when they come here, they have all the documentation, visa. So they don't need too much work. Just what we do is we pick up from the airport, we prepare them for apartments, we furnish them apartments, we give them first night their traditional food, and the next day we will bring them to the Social Security, DTA, registering for the school, and within 30 days, everything is settled. They have an apartment, and the government helping them whatever they can, and then we put them to work. For the refugee, regular refugee, is that their role, and then that is only what we can do. But the Afghan people are totally different. Totally different. They come in a situation, this country, that they don't have any paper. It's a situation that they are not refugee. I cannot call refugee because they don't have the documentation. I cannot call them they are citizens because they don't have, and they are not American. Wow. So, the American said that, okay, we can give them each family, each person, 1,225, one time. If they are, for example, family of 5, say about, normally is 6,000. Okay, now we put the hotel for 6 days. And after that, we have to find an apartment. You get an apartment for 3 bedrooms. You have 2 girls and boy. You cannot put them all together. So they need 3 bedrooms. 3 bedroom rent is 2,000, I mean. First and the last and deposit. The 6,000 is gone. I cannot ask them, the government, also, for example, Social Security, because you don't have any documentation. So they need legally, parolee, asylee parolee, something called parolee asylee. The immigration will find out and give them something. For that, it takes, when I submit the application for them, it takes 45 days just to get an appointment. After 5 days, if they get an appointment and they went to the immigration, they wait 150 days, which is 5 months, in order to answer or to get their paper. Now, we are expecting the rent for $2,000. There are children that need food 3 times at least. That is what we are here today, because this is amazing. Many people are helping us. Many people helping us. But, I don't know, family, when they don't have their own money to go and shopping and then buy something, always they feel hungry because milk is finished. Oh, this is finished. Oh, but if you have the money and you buy, you don't care and you don't feel that way. Yeah, but you don't have this. I control you, then you don't have nothing. Practically. So that is why Afghan different situation for the refugees. Now we're trying to say the government, well, these people, they cannot, they stay here and that, though we cannot helping them 5 months, 6 months. And they say, okay, they can get a job if they get a job. There is no language. Only few people speak English. Okay? And then if the one who speaks English, he just they speak, but they cannot write their name. Mm-hmm. There's another problem. So the situation of refugees all the time, when the United States bring the refugees, they will bring because part of the economy also. When they work, of course, the government, they take tax, they buy, they spend the money, they do business, they rent a house. It's economical money, make a circle. But this refugee Afghanistan, and it is not, we can say, for example, the 1,000 or only Massachusetts, I think they will resettle 1,000 person, which then there is a big families. I have 2 families, they are all together 25 person. Wow. I cannot get an apartment. I cannot get an apartment. So we look in a house, 5 houses, the basement, if you have etiquette or something. And that, imagine how much the rent will be. We're talking about 4,000, 3,500. And then this gap between when they get the documentation and they go to work, and between now until 5 months, it is somebody need to help for these people. And then the government, they pay as a refugee. Yes, when a refugee, a regular refugee coming from Africa or any other country, already they have 1,175 before. And that, you pay only first time and the last time, first month and the last month, and then after that they get to work. Even if they don't speak English, they go to the airport, lift it up, stop and shop, some kind of job they started somewhere. But the different people who speak Afghan is no documentation. Even the office of the government, that they know these people, they don't come by themselves. The government brought them here. And when you go to the Social Security, I need the documentation. These people are Afghanistan. I don't care, I just go what I have in my paper. And that is the law. I cannot fight with him because he has a right. He needs a paper. So Afghan people really is painful what they are doing for their life. And all of them, they was helping United States, and that is why they are here. And then now, you see the airplane when they come in? Yes. Just like a car, And then they say, oh, I left my child, and cry. How you left your children? Because he said, while I'm coming to the airport, and my children, they come in, the airplane get off. So now there is a lawyer in my office. Every day we fill it out for the legal issues. And then God knows when they finished. So I don't know one of us to do like this and go to another country that they don't speak English. How you feel? That is what they feel now. We hired somebody, I think 2 people who speak their language. But still, and also another problem is, outside of the United States, people, they think dream, like everybody of us, we live in like movies. You know? Hollywood, what is my car? What is my villa? What car are you talking about? So that is also the expectation is high. It's high, and then it's difficult, you know, to just let them know you have to start from the scratch. Life is not easy. I have many people from Iraq, from Somalia, who are educated. They have 22 years education. They have degrees, you know, PhD. And when they come here, they start a dishwasher. And that is the life, and that's the reality. But people, until they know that, it takes time. It's not something that I can get, I'm American. I'm in America now. So I need life, like what I see in the Hollywood. And that is what is going on. That is what is going on. Any question? We're gonna turn it on. Okay, okay, now you see the.
So in an average year, resettles about 200 people a year, but this year we're expecting 600 to come between Boston, Lynn, and Worcester. And since September, we've resettled 130 new individuals, and they're all kind of in the beginning of the resettlement process right now. So we want to thank our volunteer support partners because these are groups of people. Resettlement takes a village. So REACT relies kind of on groups like South for Action to kind of help us fill in the gaps and to help us work to resettle newly arrived refugees. So the main thing is, how can you help? So there's 4 main ways to help. So the first is to volunteer your time. 2, to make a financial contribution. You could host a family, or you could donate goods. So there are 4 ways to volunteer. So first is to help with housing solutions. So to assist with locating temporary and long-term affordable housing, which is one of our #1 issues because you know how Boston is a very expensive area. So, and their welcome money doesn't go that far. So we need kind of to think of creative ways to make sure that everyone's housed. And then we also need help with transportation support. So helping refugees go driving them to and from appointments, the grocery store, things like that. And then another way to volunteer is to do donation support. So organizing welcome basket items, furniture items to ensure that REACT is able to distribute them to families. And then finally, the 4th way is to do outreach and advocacy. So kind of to engage in needed legislative advocacy to ensure that adequate funding is available for current and future resettlement in Massachusetts in general, and specifically for the Afghan placement program. So when you make a financial contribution, you could do it for Afghan evacuees specifically, or to support all of REACT's programs, and you can donate money either online or mail it to our office. So when families first arrive, REACT is supposed to ensure that they have all these welcome basket list items. So these include bedding, linens, hygiene, baby items, kitchen and dining, and cleaning supplies. So when we have a family, we have to ensure that each person has a plate, a cup, a toothbrush, a towel, all of the bare essentials. So we've been having people bring in donations of these items, which we then gather and then disperse to the families. So when they first move into their apartment, they have all these things ready and available to them. And we also have people hold on to furniture donations, because in order to kind of make sure that we make the most of the money that they do have, having furniture be donated is very important. And then since we're having it's been hard to find housing. We've kind of relied on having a list of host families ready. So if you have a spare room or an in-law apartment in Boston, Lynn, or Worcester, we've been having it's important for us to have people host if it's possible. So while they settle in, and then we are able to furnish and find an apartment. So you can contact us if you're interested, and then attend an information session.